Welcome back, everybody, to our weekly energy update for energetically sensitives and empaths. My name is Jona Bryndis, and this is for the week 30 of 2018, 20th till 26th of July. I hope you guys are well. You can see that the energy barometer is giving us a little bit of a break here. The title for this next week is Transition and Detanglement. So what does this mean? All right, so, the way the energies are going right now overall is that they're still building. And if you've watched the July forecast, you know that, all this is part of a greater correction. It's part of a energetic movement that leads the collective into improvement, into, like a greater version of itself. And this is what we've all been waiting for, But for this to happen, there needs to be this activation energy that can break through the illusions and through the matrix. Some of you may know this. Jeff and I have recorded a 21-day, I think 15 hours of free energy training lessons here on YouTube. You can look this up in my channel at transCODES. If you want to learn how, collective energies, matrix as they are often called, work together with our personal energies in detail, then I highly, highly recommend this free energy lesson course there. So anyway, the specific energies for this next week is they are pointing at healing. So it's a good time for healing. But what kind of healing, and why does this still feel so crappy? Okay, last week, I know many of us energetically sensitives have had major shifts happening in their lives. And some of that was not necessarily, I talked about that we're going to be forced to see in truth, but some of you took this to heart and actually made some conscious decisions. And yet we are not quite there yet, okay? So there's a transition that we're all in, and so is the collective. So what is it that needs to be healed? Really our attachment to the past and the way we've been seeing things up until here. And this creates a little bit of an issue within us, okay? So while 3 weeks ago, I think it was, we were fighting, everything new that was coming in and looking at things in a sort of more a true self way, and getting tangled up in our schisms, we are now more open for this. This is really, really good. And next week, guys, has increased manifestation energies. And I'll talk about what this means, because it's not just good. But we're ready, okay? Many of us feel ready for a change. Remember, our ego really doesn't want to change anything until the pain of staying where we're at becomes greater than the fear of the unknown. And we have made that step into the unknown in whatever way, be it through shifting or even quitting our job, or be it through implementing changes with our diet, with our exercise, with our physical body, or in our relationship. Or even, things such as I mentioned this last week, we have decided to move. We have decided that, what makes us feel stronger, what makes us feel more supported and more home, is not where we're at the moment. This doesn't mean that where we were wasn't a good place for us. It was just for the time being, it was a really good place and a needed transition. And now we are getting to a next level, so to speak. And the energies here for next week are inviting us into the next level of whatever it may pertain. All right. And there's a little bit of a replication here of the beginning of June energies. So if you want to go back and watch the forecast for June energies that I made in May, I had to listen to it myself. I go really deep into the vision of self and how to implement all of that and how to create a life that has more meaning. many of us go through this sort of intensive type of emptiness right now. What are we even doing this for? And the energies coming in here for the next week will help with that. They will give us this sort of quantum leap energy, and they will make us want to do things. And we may get tangled up, though, in not quite knowing yet how to put this into real life, how to implement this fully. And so many of us will find themselves in this sort of limbo land, of knowing exactly that you don't want the old anymore, perhaps not being entirely sure what your true heart's desire is, and what your true vision of yourself is, and how to implement that. And here you need to stay calm now. You really need to understand that all this is a matter of timing, and that the timing cannot be forced. Okay, so as much as your ego wants you to make progress, all right, you're gonna have to stay within your center here, within your heart, and constantly ask yourself, is this representing where I want to go? Is this representing this sort of overall vision of myself and what I can offer to the world here, that I'm doing right now? And collectively, there's a lot of crazy making going on right now. It's hard for me to report about collective stuff without sort of becoming sarcastic. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the political that is represented or replicated in drama and real life soap operas. I mean, it really is hard to follow all the forward, backward, sideways type of backpedaling and trying to make sense of what is going on in the political arena here is almost impossible. So this swelling conflict, okay, this swelling revolution energy that is coming in here towards the end of July has not quite yet arrived. So you can stay calm, and focus on yourself here this next week. And by the way, yes, this is live, and the reason why I do this live is, of course, I see some of you guys in the chat already. Let me know where you're from. Is to be in touch with you as I am doing these live energy updates, but also to hear from you how you are doing. So please use this opportunity here, to let me know, what is going on, for you. We're getting to the energy tips here in a second. And then this may feel, triggered in you. So please give me some feedback, what you've been going through or what you are currently going through. And of course, also questions. So being in touch, and really sort of forcing yourself to go into your authentic self, which is what I am doing with these live updates. And there's always technical issues. I've had this professional microphone all set up here, and I couldn't get the connection to work. So I just gotta let this go, adapt, and keep going. So there are higher and lower expressions of this correction, of this transition energy that are coming in, and this will be your main task here this next week, to watch which version of this you are aligned to. Okay, and when we go through the energy tips here, then this will, I'll point this out for you, how these different kind of expressions are. The bottom line, though, is, and this is something that we teach here at transCODES extensively, is that depending on where your energetic state is at a certain moment, your perception of yourself and the world around you is majorly influenced. So what you may discover here this week is that there is something like really strong selective perception going on. And you may have always known this, but you will discover the truth of that. And that is that, not all the things that you're seeing are really a representation of what is going on. It is a reflection of where your energy is. And this is, something that a lot of you empaths have to work with your projections. Okay, so this ability to read energies also comes with the cool talent to project energies. All right, but it can also end up becoming our own shadow. All right, and we can become victim of our own shadow. And so shadow work is pretty high on the list of things to do here for this next week, and to become really honest with ourselves. But also understanding that there's a greater picture to this. Why, is this so prevalent? Why is this so strong in me? Why do I keep enabling certain dysfunctionalities in my life? And what the link is here to karmic setups and things that are sort of repeating in my karmic relationships. But overall, it's a cool week as always. If you have the courage to face all that, if you have the courage to take whatever comes and just deal with it, you're not going to have a big issue. It's more the collective that is still struggling with truth. Being sort of right on that verge of living in truth. Okay, where it tends to go back and forth. The main energy centers worked on here for this next week are the first, the third, which is great because that is, the seat of our power, of our, expression power, because things really, really need to come into expression now. And our fifth, which is good also, can be an issue though, if we have been, told by our parents growing up that if we don't have anything positive to say, to better shut up, or children better be seen, not heard. And so, or if we've just never really found that true voice in us, then this can be the most challenging part here for next week. Collectively, planetary earth changes wise, a lot of conflict coming, a lot of storms, guys. So, like I've said, stay adaptable and stay light with all the stuff that you attach yourself to, and allow this detanglement of untruths on all levels to happen in your personal life, as well as in your immediate collective, your family, and of course your country, and the entire world. Allow that to unfold. All right, and in that process you will notice that the only thing that can actually guide you through this is your true heart's desire. Your true heart's desire, not the desire to comply, conform, to be somebody, to get validation from the outside, or somehow justify the way you see the world. Not that kind of desire. The real, the true heart's desire, what your passion is, what drives you. I think I said what makes you get back up and try again in the June update. All right, so the energy tips here for this next week. What are some of the physical things that we are dealing with here? Yes, Casey, I hear you. Social energy is huge. Yes, we call it collective energies. It's like bombarding us, because there's so much going on, but we don't really see what it is that is going on. So we feel the agitation. A lot of people going into anxiety about this because there's so much uncertainty right now that it just feels intense. Okay, this intensity will continue. Sorry to not being able, to give a sort of just entirely positive message. Oh yes, Montreal, I see you too. And I see you, Washington. Okay, so this is working. Thank you guys for responding. This is also a way for me to tell that I'm actually live. Sometimes I'm not really sure if I am live. And Australia is here, and California. Yes, I see you. Okay. So what are some of the physical things that we've been dealing with here these last couple of days, or the last week? Okay, so a lot of people were complaining about issues with the stomach, and I'm expecting that to continue going on here for this next week. either like an acidic stomach, or this like weird feeling of an empty stomach, or in general digestive issues. So we had digestive issues last week already, but that was more sort of in the lower abdominal area. It's going to move up a little higher, so you still want to watch what you're eating. I suggested that you do a little bit of a detox or stay light on the foods, just to make your body not having to deal with additional stuff on top of all these energies. The energies that are coming in here in this next week are not as much emotional as there were in the last 2 weeks. They're more physical, guys. And so the proficiency of your metabolism will determine how easy this is going for you, how easy all these transitions are going. And that's why I recommend it, to go into detox and all that. So for next week, it's more about, paying attention to your diet. I've written a really extensive article about dietary changes for empaths, for people who are awakening, because there's a lot of cellular stuff that is happening in us, and it requires a little bit of a different diet. So some things may not work with you anymore. Pay attention to your foods, what works well. Oh, okay, so you got an itchy feeling there. Yes, pancreas. So these last 2 weeks were a bit difficult for people who are still repressing a lot of emotions, and so that could be very, very challenging for the pancreas. Also, again here with the foods, all right, don't make it extra hard on your body. Stay light with it, and watch if there are certain things you can't tolerate anymore. All right, many people are going to come down with a cold, or at least cold symptoms, or issues with the sinus. And those of you who tend to have migraines or the sinus headache, you're probably going to feel a lot more of that next week, guys. Sorry, that hurts a bit to say that, because I know this is one of these issues that empaths and energetically sensitives frequently have. Also, reproductive organs. I'm not a big fan of, scaring yourself with too much preventative, checkups and so forth. This is a good time, though, to go check on your reproductive organs. If this is the time for you, don't procrastinate, okay? Go do pap smear, go do, your prostate check and so forth. A lot of these masculine feminine energies that we've discussed in the past weeks are manifesting in issues with our reproductive organs, okay? I'm not recommending mammograms, at least not the classical kind, guys. There's many other reasons for that. And yes, Amsterdam, I am seeing you, and I'm excited too. Wonderful, yes. So next week, this increased manifestation that I mentioned will affect the physical, the emotional, the mental, your relationships, and your energetic household in, of course, all ways, which means, many trained energy workers are really, really good manifestors. But if you are going into the negative or the lower vibratory expressions of, yourself and, the things that you're dealing with, then you need to be careful, because this will manifest quicker than normal. Okay, so negative attitude towards your body, since we're talking about physical energy tips here, can really manifest in a, sort of very, very quickly downhill type of way. I said this in the June update, that this physical frailty, and all these mystery diseases, fibromyalgia, well, diabetes is not really a mystery, but I'm just putting this into that group, just to mention a few. There's so many nowadays, and they keep coming up with new labels, to make you take medication. But these are often all manifestations of an imbalanced energy household, and there's something in the physical and the emotional and the mental that is not, or in the spiritual, that is not fully coming to expression. Okay, so once more here, the physical tips for next week. Pay attention to your reproductive organs. If you have wounds of your sexuality, or history of abuse of any kind, it'd be a good time now to start a therapy, to start talking to people. You'd be surprised, guys. I mean, I'm an energy healer for so many years, and in my daily energy coaching, it's not an official statistics, but I want to say that 80% of all empaths have experienced some kind of abuse, and unfortunately often also sexual. So you are not alone, guys. Seek someone that you can talk to, or actually start a therapy. Yes, hypothyroidism, all these, that's exactly what I mean, Casey. These things will all flare up here. And, it's not done with trying to find the fix. And we'll talk about this. So this increased manifestation is there for a reason. Namely, so that we can work with it and go into the more positive expression, more the healthy expression of it. So clean up, guys, physically. Clean up. And no more waiting or seeking. Okay, you don't need to wait until you lose weight in order to go to the gym, or till it gets worse. Okay, to quit smoking or to start a healthier diet. Really, you don't need to wait. And if you don't really know the fix, that's okay. Then experiment, play around a bit. Playing will be a theme for this week. So play around with your foods, I don't know, sign up for a cooking class, There's some very, very interesting cooking shows now coming up on TV that are very entertaining. And they all can help with just experimenting a bit more. Yes. Okay, moving on to the emotional energy tips. So the primary feeling or emotion that I'm expecting for next week are questions around, am I fulfilled? Because this emptiness that I mentioned is coming forward. And this will, of course, encourage you to, or hopefully it will, to look into your true heart's desire and how close you actually are to, really living, according to your true heart's desire. Yes. Yes, this also affects relationships, living moment. Yeah, we'll talk about energy tips and relationships here in a sec. But these are questions that need to be answered for ourselves first. Okay, and too many of us have been, unknowingly, because we were literally blind to it. We've accepted or tolerated or even enabled situations that are not really conducive for us and that are actually degrading. That we're running after some persons or some groups' validation, and it really doesn't mean anything to us. Okay, this has to do with your true heart's desire. When you sort of fixate on something and you just, that's all you can think of, and you get it, and then you feel empty. This is a sign for you guys that this is not your true heart's desire. You will feel your true heart's desire. Trust me. Okay, this is very, very distinct. How this feels inside. So this needs to come to an expression, to a higher vibratory expression. Don't get caught in, I don't know, how to do this, or I'm waiting for this, or if I just had more money, or if I just had the right partner. No, stop waiting. Ask yourself, what am I waiting for? And that answer, you're going to have to work with. And that leads me to the mental aspects here of next week and the tips for that. Am I even seeing truth? Is this what I'm seeing, the way it displays itself, or how I justify things, or how I tell myself how things are? Is this even true? How do you know? So you will probably feel or hear your critical inner voice a lot next week, that keeps coming in sort of like an inner parent, or like an inner teacher, or an inner coach, constantly criticizing you, constantly, telling you what you ought to do, or how you should do things, or, how things have to be, the collective conditioning, the matrix programming that you have. You're going to have to learn how to ignore this, how to calm this down. This is completely overloading you and stressing you. And this is where, you know, the anxiety comes from. This is also where the depression comes from, because it's too much. Okay, you can't solve everything at once. This is transition, guys. And this transition will take a few years. So agree to breaking things down into baby steps. Understand that the timing aspect that I mentioned in the beginning, you know, that you can only do one thing at a time. Just focus on the next 24 hours or the next month, you know, and ask yourself, what is currently blocking me? What blocks me? And then you attack that first. You haven't opened your mail in a while? Well, you know, that can be a major blocking factor. Then do this first. You know, you haven't answered those phone calls, or somebody is pushing on you and tries to get something from you, or you need to do something for this person. Do this first. You know, get things into smaller chunk and preferably attack the stuff that is blocking you the most first. And then start thinking about what is your overall strategy, you know, for getting there where your true heart's desire is. And don't expect yourself to have this all figured out. This is not about figuring it out. This is about feeling it out here in this new time. And so you don't need the fix. It's not even a fix, you know, per se, because there's nothing wrong. It's just that, you know, you've basically been following sort of the wrong timeline, and now that you're jumping timelines, okay, you're looking for improvements and not for fixes or for solutions. You're looking for things that you can do better from here on. Focus on your present self and what this present self right now can do, and let go of all the stuff that you cannot control. Serenity here. Socially, relationship related. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of truths that are coming forward, and you know, you may feel betrayed, you may feel cheated on. I'm saying it like almost like oh, so what? But this is the nature of this time, that is of this energy that's coming in here next week. So don't fall for this, because it's not about that. There are much more important questions in your relationship. Okay, and that is, am I respected? Am I in truth? Is my partner in truth? Is our relationship in truth? Or is it some kind of fantasy bond, you know, where it's just about what you can present on the outside to other people, and within there's nothing there. And you look at your watch, you know, when you're with your partner, and you're just waiting for the time to go to bed or go to work or whatever. Then you're not in truth. And guys, I mentioned this with the shadow work before. This is going to be massive here this next week. Facing your own shadow. And at transCODES, we've changed our energy sessions here, particularly for this purpose. We changed the session on Sunday that was originally there for us working on, you know, sort of self-love and so forth, more into dealing with white shadow. If you've never done shadow work, this is a wonderful opportunity for you to find out, you know, how much of you is actually still caught in this false self, like Miss Goody Two Shoes, you know, Mr. Nice Guy type of thing, that is actually degrading your energy and diverting your energy into the wrong direction. Also, aspects of codependency, and specifically this week, sexual shadow aspects. Okay, they will, you know, come to you, and you will see things in yourself, but also in your partner. And therefore, it's important that you know how to speak from the heart, how to go into this vulnerable place and say, you know, I couldn't see this before, but I'm realizing that this and this and this and this, you know, I have been doing this without even noticing, you know, how degrading that is for me, and I need to change this now. You know, or, you know, of course, you can say something about your partner, but my suggestion for you is when you move into truth and you're in this transitory state with your partner, start with yourself. Start with yourself. And again here, don't expect fixes. This is not about a fix. This is about, you know, moving into a transition, moving into change. And all you can do is try new things. And playfulness, you know, if you have a really nice relationship, if you're living the healthy and the positive expression of relationships and connection, then go and play with your partner, embrace life, maybe go on a short trip or something, and really, sort of let this invigorating energy, this new manifestation energy, inspire you guys for new experiences. Spiritually, you could already hear this. So there's a karmic relationship pattern aspect that has been coming in here for weeks already, and this needs to be resolved now, guys. Also in regards to our sexuality. Okay, so this is the sort of the coloration here in this week. It's not much different from what I said last week or the week before. But again, it comes down to our inner relationship, with masculine and feminine energies, and still here the parental, principles, the mother and the father principle, and how our mother and father have, as these early representations of masculinity and femininity, how they have influenced our way of seeing ourselves and seeing our partner. Okay, and this is where the shadow work stuff really comes into play, where this can become really, really important for you, that you learn how to see these shadow expressions, the lower vibratory expressions of actually something that is really good about you, or that you perceive as a strength, but there's shadow side to a lot of these things. And in a spiritual sense, it's the continuation of dissolving our dualisms within. So yes, so this new manifestation field that is opening right now, I would strongly recommend go in it, guys. Use it. Allow the detanglement of entanglement right now. Okay, it's about reconciling your lower self, your ego self, and your higher self, and with the new future self modality that we are working with here at transCODES. By the way, these sessions that I mentioned, they're all publicly open. Those are energy training sessions, energy healing sessions, remotely done. Everybody can sign up for them, and it comes with a lot of education and feedback and all that. But in the future self, we work with the past, the present, and the future self, and to gain this deeper inner guidance that we are all looking for. So we can't really find that on the outside. Energetically, obvious. Work on your karmic relationship patterns. Look at the things that repeat in your relationships, and know that this is not going to change, even within your partner. Because if you have had several partnerships, and you look back, you'll see that these patterns replicate throughout different relationships, even with different partners. Check into these masculine and feminine energies within yourself, how you see yourself as a woman, how you see yourself as a man, and do active energy work now, active self-healing, guys. Without that, it will just be too overwhelming, and you will also make yourself dependent on too many outer things, on too much external stuff, or other people, other guides. I mean, I'm an energy coach, I'm a guide for people, but I've created programs and stuff, and like everybody is open, for everybody is open source, and we reflect everything back. Do you think event energy is different in other countries? Absolutely. This is a completely important thing here. That's why I want you to tell me what countries you're from, because every country, every nation, every collective, even every village, and every ethnic and cultural group has different karmic aspects, guys. So it's very important to look at those, right? So, as I'm like a white Scandinavian, Icelandic, so I got completely different karmic tasks that replicate into my karmic relationships than someone who was born in Africa, or someone who lives in Australia, or someone who lives in Asia or South America. It's a completely different karmic constellation here. Okay, so this is part of what we detangle in the energy coaching, for people to see this. Yes, and I'm sorry about the energy headaches, Casey, yes. Yeah, right now, best thing, salads and avocados. I agree with you. This is basically what I do. You know, lots of salads, lots of good fatty acids, you know, also this whole sunlight metabolism. People have asked me about, you know, the radiation with these increased solar activity and so forth, and if they should stay inside. No, guys, no. You know, because the metabolizing light is one of the biggest shifts here that are happening in our physical in these years of transition. Okay, we are actually able to take a lot of nourishment from sunlight, and we can't be afraid of this. Is, I know it's counterintuitive because, you know, media and everything tells us that, oh, skin cancer and all. No, guys, I mean, sunlight is really, really important. Okay, you don't want to go, you know, stupid sunbathing, you know, but like spend as much time as you can outside. You know, going inside will not change the gamma radiation, okay, that is coming through solar or other planetary cosmic energies that are coming in. All right, so you know, understand that your body is going through a cellular shift here. I'm talking about this all the time. And guys, I've just written a wonderful article called "So You're Awakening What's Next." You know, with all these shifts and changes in our perception in our body. And I've written 500 articles. They're all on my blog. So, you know, sign up, go there. There's a keyword search. You know, people like myself who've been in this for 20 years. Okay, we've been. For us, it's like a broken record. We talk about this all the time, and it's almost embarrassing to keep saying the same things, you know. But it's now the time where, you know, this global awakening is starting to take place, meaning that people who have not been in New Age or esoterics or whatever, and have no interest or intention of going there, are awakening to a new sense, a new sensitivity, okay? And this is what we are for here as energy coaches, you know, to help people, to guide them through this transition. This is all, you know, really positive. Yes. Yeah, embrace the sun, guys, okay? You know, don't be afraid of the sun, but be smart, you know, and there's things, you know, lycopene, for instance, it comes in tomatoes. Even in tomato ketchup, helps you, you know, to deal with sunlight, you know, and strengthens your skin and your eyes. You know, alpha tocopherol, you know, these are all vitamin E. You know, you can find that in good fatty acids, you know, such as avocados, but also really good oils. You know, they can help, you know, your entire system to metabolize light better and easier without the side effects of it. Yes. Okay, guys, so I'm at the end here of the energy update. You know, these collective revolutionary energies that I mentioned in the July forecast, they're coming in towards the end of the week. So by Wednesday, Thursday, you're going to feel a lot more chaotic energies coming in. So try to stay calm, guys. Lots of storms, okay, as far as Earth's changes is concerned. And, you know, go into your true heart's desire. That's all I can say, you know, and do active self-healing. We have, by the way, yes, we have a whole new program here at transCODES right now called the Energy Training Club. If you've ever thought about doing something like this, and I want to really emphasize that this is not woo-woo, guys. We're working, you know, with meta sciences here. We're working with psychology, with some shamanism, and you know, we're not, of course, some of our coaches are, we're not doctors or anything, but bringing in, you know, sort of the culmination of holistic health and wellness, okay? And there's so much education that we need to absorb now so that we know better how to deal with the future and also how to deal with our changed perceptivity. All right, so check this out. Energy Training Club is a monthly, you know, can be renewed every month if you want to, but you don't have to, like, full on you know, energy training every 2-3 days. And then, of course, those of you who wanted, you know, faster, who wanted, you know, sort of in a more structured way, you can check out our Heart Warrior program. It's a 90-day boot camp, you know, for like people who want to immediately, you know, go through a transformation here with a lot of personal, you know, it's completely personalized, like a personal trainer. You know, we spend a lot of time with you personally, guiding you through this. Every beginning of the month, we have new spots available for the Heart Warrior program. All right, guys. So happy shadow work for next week, and check out our sessions. I love you guys. Thank you for coming. Don't forget to push the like button. Sign up for our written energy update, which comes with the edited version. I'm getting ready for the crypto spiritual energy update, where I'm translating all these collective energies into the financial, into the crypto market. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor, but we're doing crypto integrity ratings there, calibrating things based on their consciousness level. Very, very interesting. So even if you're not into cryptocurrencies at all, it's always worth to watch this. Okay, guys. Thank you, and have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.